Hello gang, Kevin here. It's April 1st, 2024. Um, got just It's a busy season. Everybody's gonna be trying to get their spraying done, get caught up planting, depending what region you're in. So I figured it's probably best to just throw out a quick video update instead of writing stuff down that makes you sit down and focus. So anyway, I'm down here by the river, just waiting for kids to get out of track practice, and thought I'd put one together real quick. So, today was a big macro sell day. I don't know how many contracts they sold early, but a bunch. Was also pressured in the hard red by the rain chances for that southern plain crop, and they're on their way to a fairly good start. They did get a little bit of frost damage, I think, based on Kansas State's research. There is some frost damage, but I think is minimal at this point. So they are a month ahead of schedule in places, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. So that's going to put the stress on, as we get into late April, early May, when we can really do some damage if it gets cold. Speaking of cold, as the Northwest goes, we're 72 today, supposed to be close to 80 tomorrow, and then we're going to be back to potential snow showers on Thursday morning. So enjoy your 2 days of spraying, because it's coming to a close quick. And we'll see what happens after that. None of the models really have a ridge coming back for a while. So anyway, winter's not over. So got to figure out what I was going to talk about. So the biggest driver right now, I've listed those 4 things that can make our market move. And with the rates doing what they're doing, with the Fed, the way they're talking, and they're not, saying, okay, some saying they are going to cut rates, some saying not going to happen at all. They may have to raise rates. The dollar continues to push to the upside. It's up against major resistance right now, but if it gets through that, then we're going to start seeing more pressure on that. More pressure for us in the grain industry from the dollar. So that one's struggling out of the 4 things I had. The Russian war, they seem to be focused on infrastructure, energy infrastructure especially. So they're trying, most of Ukraine is out of power, and they continue to have the bombing runs every night, and they're aiming at dams. They're aiming at anything that'll generate power. And this is not just central and east southern Ukraine. This is all of Ukraine. They're going all the way to the Polish border. They've had a few missiles that have escaped into Polish territory and moved back into Ukraine. And so Poland has had to scramble some jets multiple times. And there was a NATO, one of the head commanders, I guess, generals of NATO. He was spotted in just south of Kiev. So it's like I say, they do have troops on the ground. You just don't hear much about it yet. Now, whether NATO moves big in to push Russia out or not, I don't know. How much disruption that causes, I don't know that either. So, but I just think it's a major risk, and I feel like they're apt to take action on the Black Sea just to prevent Russia from selling energy, and grains may get tagged along with that if that happens. So certainly something to watch. The other thing going on, which is probably the biggest deal when I look at everything, is the drought in Russia continues to exist. This afternoon's map, I just looked right before I post this. It does show a few showers, spotty type showers. This is the first since January in that southern Russia region. Most of them are 1/4 of an inch or less. There is a chance for if you get under the right shower, you could get 3/4 of an inch. Temperatures remain well above average. Maturity remains ahead of schedule just because it's been dry and warm. So that's the bigger story. I think the Russian dryness, if we go through this 7 days and that's all the rain they get, and they get a dry forecast next week, then I think the market's going to pay attention. The computers have already, they're focused on that. And, if we start seeing big rain amounts, we're going to sell off. We see little rain amounts, with the continued warm temps, and we're going to start adding premium real fast. I'm actually surprised. I think that's what happened today in wheat was, we had a big macro sell day selling thousands of contracts, and wheat only closed down 3. It was almost unchanged there a couple times mid-session, and I think what happened was there's just too much drought risk sneaking in on the Black Sea side. So if they have a problem, the market's going to move higher. So with that said, I've been on the fence wanting to recommend call options. Anybody who sold wheat this side, in 2024 yet, prices have been in the toilet. So it's like, well, it'd be nice to add value to those. Do we do that now or do we wait? That's tough. I'll send out a rack if the coast looks clear. I was ready to say go ahead, and then I saw the map throw in a few showers. It's like, well, let's sit tight a little bit, and we may kick ourselves for not jumping in right now. But so far, caution has paid for not jumping in early, at least on these last sales. But certainly on the watch list. As far as the sell window goes, we'll see what develops, but things could appreciate really quick if the drought does take hold. And it's not a normal year. I mean, we've got the ENSO cycle favorable for that kind of a problem in Russia. So last time, 2010, with the same ENSO pattern, the market didn't move until June, but that was just the start of the computer age in markets. Just, the algorithms weren't programmed like they are now. So that one kind of snuck up on everybody, and then the market took off in June. This year, everybody's already talking about it. We all know that the potential's there. So, there's a good chance we could, if this thing gets real, drought-wise, this thing could be done by June, right? The market could be done with its major move by June. So, hearing lots of different subject. I'm hearing a lot of traffic on the index fund movements and just your financial traders wanting to move into agriculture. They're wanting to move in commodities. The indexes, the commodity indexes, CRB and whatnot, they look good. The charts look good. They look like we're getting ready for a move up in commodities. So I feel like if we can get something going, if we can get the drought going in Russia, or if there's any kind of a move by NATO, what have you, or safrinha crop gets dry in Brazil, just get a little wind at our back here, things are going to turn pretty quick. It's just kind of got that feel to it. So we just got to get out of this macro sell stuff and with really no exciting news to report. So that's going to continue as sideways, and if big rains show up in Russia, and then that's going to provide quite a bit of pressure. So, and it's early. I mean, it's April 1st. We got a long way to go for those guys. They've still got 110 days, 105 days till their crop's made, and that's a long time. So there was one other thing. What did it have to do with? Wasn't corn. Last Friday's acreage, stocks and acreage really wasn't. The corn acreage was supported, but I think everybody thinks that number is going to come up quite a bit. So it's bullish for now, but the June report will probably show increased corn acres. There's a lot of chatter about where the 6 million acres went. There's 6 million acres that came off the books, and I know there's a lot of things contributing to that. So some of that's real. I don't know if it's a full 6 million, but everybody's searching for something that's profitable to plant. It doesn't matter if it's a grain or if it's a grass seed or if it's a hay, a stock feed or something. I mean, nothing has any value at all right now. So I'm sure there's more fallow. There's going to be more fallow than normal. There's going to be more specialties than normal. Anything that could possibly deliver a profit is going to get planted ahead of all these other primary crops. So it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing an acreage drop from last year. So whether it's 6 million or 5 million or 4, I don't know. I think it's probably closer to 4, but we'll find out later. So China keeps, they're booking they're shipping their wheat that they bought. You know, they bought 1.6 million, 1.7 million metric tons, and that's just the soft red version. They bought a little white wheat and hard red as well, and they seem to be shipping that now. They shipped, I believe, 3 cargoes last week, 3 of soft red and 1 of hard red out of the Northwest. So 3 of the soft red ones went out of the Gulf. The hard red went out of Portland. So that kind of cancels the fear of the cancellations. They had about 600,000 still on the books, and that's gonna start. That number's getting small now. So I think we can throw that fear away. You know, watch tomorrow, they'll have a cancellation. But after I say that, but I'd be surprised. I'd be really surprised. So overall, I think the wind's switching. I think it's going to be at our back here pretty quick, and it should be a fairly quick ascent if we can get something going. But who knows? Maybe everybody gets rain and has greenhouse weather and just flooded with everything. But I kind of doubt it. So weather seems a little bit volatile on a year where we go from a moderate Nino down to a moderate Nina in 6 months' time. That doesn't happen that often. So that's all I got. Hope everybody's well, and holler if you need something. Bye.